Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon Podcast Live. I'm feeling good this evening, Rohan. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I feel a bit better. I can't lie. I've been like so
No, not
annoyed.
about football, whatever. In life.
Okay, fine. Let's
I'm
exclude
feeling
football for a
good.
second.
I haven't
Feeling
got a
good.
tooth. I still haven't got a tooth. I'll probably have a tooth tomorrow. If not, certainly by the weekend. So, apologies.
Would you like to share to the viewers?
It's not a particularly interesting story. I had a bike accident when I was about 7 or 8, which my mum has still not forgiven me for to this day. And essentially, these two teeth, so this one and this one, this is actually a fake tooth. This tooth here, these two teeth were impacted like this, bash, oosh, like that,
Oosh.
and they've been basically like rotting from the inside since. That one basically fell out 2 years ago, and this one was going red at the top. So I thought, you know what, that one's got to go as well. So I'm getting an implant. That's what's happening.
Quite expensive, aren't they?
Oh, it's only $4.5 grand, mate.
I know someone who's had implants, and he says
No, it's only $4.5 grand. It's absolutely fine. Give me a super chat now. Now. And it is just me. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hope you're all doing very well. Azrael was first in the chat. Vlad was here. Tanzil, Amit. Don't worry about it. It's back. Fodder on Football says a Polkogies, everyone. Space Time says Arsenal are the worst team in Europe. It will certainly come to that. Twerk for Work says Brohand. Dr. Hank Venture says, hey, I have half of the same front tooth that's fake because of a baseball bat. Teeth are just it's a madness. No one knows what's going on in there. It's crazy.
All right, I've touched wood, and I'll keep touching wood. I've never had any issues with my teeth. Never.
I have had
never any issues.
I bet you have somewhere else. I'll come to this in a second. I've had orthodontics, so I've had braces. I had them for like 5 years. I've had an operation. I have had Invisalign. I've had now 2 implants. I've had a dental emergency in a foreign country. I've got wisdom tooth growing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I've got like 5 fillings as well, and I'm ironically drinking a Dr. Pepper right now. I don't like sweet stuff. Don't like it. I don't really drink. I would prefer if you gave me a chocolate bar or like some grapes. I'd have the grapes every time. I think I've got like bad enamel, and then the bike accident, and then just a nightmare, mate.
Yeah, I know, and like toothaches as well. I've heard so painful. Like,
I bet you don't have to share, but I bet you have something because
maybe I do
got something.
Yeah, something. I do get it. I do get checked up every single year. You know, you should go like once a year. Like sometimes people are like, you know, oh, my teeth are fine. But no, get it checked. Go at least once a year. Yeah. You don't know.
I discovered recently some people don't brush their teeth twice a day.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm not having that.
That's Nick. I've got quite a few icks, right?
That's one of which is
that's one of
not brushing your teeth twice a day.
Not brushing your teeth. If you stink like reek of BO. Come on. I don't want you should smell at baseline of nothing. Really.
Yeah. If you
at baseline
smell of nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a pass. But I can't stand BO. The other thing is like long nails that are like manky. Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, or like stuff in like under the nails.
Like stuff. Yeah.
Black under there. I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
And also when people don't say thank you when you hold the door for them.
Well, here's the thing. So Rohan's had a really hard day. Someone didn't say thank you to him when he opened the door.
I'm very petty as well. That's
I hope it's okay. Someone's just said, can you still do your Arteta and Pep accents with your teeth issue? If not, I'm unsubbing. More than you believe. But I will say I was in Malta earlier on this week, which was lovely, by the way. Winter sun. It was 25 degrees in November. Unbelievable.
It's like Tenerife. Tenerife, like throughout the year, is really
it's gorgeous. It's amazing. Yeah. But whenever you let people through, they don't say thank you. I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, cool. It's a cultural bit, but in the UK, right?
Yeah.
You hold the door for someone. Yeah. At the very least, they can say thank you. So what happened is she didn't say thank you, and then another set of doors. So I increased my pace so I could gain a bit of separation.
Yeah.
And then I opened the door
start.
and kind of like just quickly closed it. Not evidently, like subtly closed it. And I didn't hold it for her because you know what? People deserve that sometimes. If you're not going to have the decency to say a couple of words after I've held the door for you, open your own door.
Maybe you could teach Martinelli about creating separation from a standing start. Right,
Naughty Alex.
we're on to we're on to football.
Alexander.
We're on to football. It's probably going to be a slightly waffly one, as Thursdays normally are, because football is it's painful, and I just know this episode is going to get about 10 views because no one wants to hear about football when we're losing.
And we're going to get a lot of stick as well.
Honestly, if you want to laugh, go and look at either go on my channel or the Cannon podcast. You can track how well Arsenal are doing by the views. You literally watch it. Like people don't want to hear bad news. They don't want to hear bad news. So if you're here,
I do hear that as well, though. I do hear that.
No, 100%. I completely disconnect. Absolutely. If you're here, we love you. We absolutely love you. You're a legend. Lovely stuff.
And if you're not here, we also love you.
No, we don't. We hate you. I hate you.
We hate you.
We're going to talk Arsenal. We're going to talk the Inter Milan game. We're going to talk about a little bit about Newcastle. You have to run back to hear. People don't want to hear the 2 story again. O'clock 31. Sorry. People saying we love you. Love you in the chat. You're all great. We're going to talk Inter Milan. We're going to talk, and we're going to try and rank. I have prepared for this episode. It's unbelievable stuff. I've built a tier list with my bare hands. No, it took me about 3 minutes. But I built a tier list, and we're going to try and rank every problem that Arsenal have at the moment. I've got a list of about 10. I'm going to try and rank every problem. We're going to have to decide as a group on our biggest problem right now. Do you want to hear the categories for later?
Go on.
They are Arteta, misfortune, title rivals, the players, the fans and their expectations, the owners and the board, referees, the media, recruitment. I did loads. Win the dog, my missing tooth, other. Those are the categories.
Are those last few ones realistic? Are they actually on the list? They're not, are they?
And then we're going to talk Marino because you completely disagree with me and therefore disrespected me and my entire family. And then we're going to do a Chelsea preview. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good night. Enjoy yourselves. Strap in. Get a drink.
Exactly. Strap in.
So Inter Milan.
Strap in.
Okay. So we spoke about this on the instant reaction, and I've had a day to sort of settle in about how I feel. I heard there's a podcast called Forever Arsenal. I listened to it earlier, and there was a guy on it who said something, and I was like, "Is this true?" And I'm genuinely asking, "Is this true?" I came away from last night going, "That was painful because of the result, but I feel that was defined by luck and fine margins." And if you look at how we played, while there are problems with our chance creation, with our central access, which we want to come to, I think that should be a big focus of what we're doing. I've got loads of graphs and stuff. Our central access is a problem, but I felt we did enough yesterday and we weren't honking. And our second half was a lot better. Havertz probably should have scored. Saliba should have scored. Saka had a good chance.
Yeah.
I think we had some other chances as well. And
Marino got punched. It shouldn't have been a penalty. So I'm not coming away from yesterday going, woe is us, especially because the Champions League we can get it back. It's also the San Siro against the team who won Serie A last season. And by the way, the Italian league is really competitive. I think people sleep on it a little bit. It's very good. So I'm not happy because we lost. I'm not saying that. But I think there has been a bit of doom, obviously because we're in a poor run of form. But if you can isolate that game and just look at it on its own, forgetting the 20 years of no trophy and forgetting the Premier League form, and just look at the game, it didn't feel like a disaster. I agree.
Talk to me.
I agree. I completely agree. We may not agree on the Marino thing, but we completely agree on this. Completely agree. I think, right, so So I don't want to go too much into it yet, but the Newcastle game upset me a lot. Genuinely upset me a lot. I was like fuming after that, and I don't really feel that way of this Arsenal team under Arteta over the past few years. I don't feel that. You know, when
Yeah.
we've lost games, you're disappointed and you're frustrated, but to be angry and to be upset, where we'll forget about the tactics for a second, but Arteta mentions a lot about you need to earn the right to win wherever
Yeah.
you go. We did not earn the right to get anything from that Newcastle game. And we can look at that Declan Rice chance, for example, as a massive moment and one that he should score. And that, you know, in the end gives us an equalizer and we walk away with a point. But I can't look at that one moment to judge the entirety of that game. You know, you can't isolate that one specific scenario. We didn't earn the right to win. We didn't earn the right for a point in that game for me. I'm not really looking into the numbers behind that game in particular, because when you watch it and you look how the game unfolded, it was really bad. Yesterday, I can't lie, I was actually pretty happy. I was pretty happy after the game. The result was frustrating, of course, but the performance was good, Alex.
Especially
Honestly,
second
the
half.
performance.
Especially second
It's,
half.
now again, you can have the issues that Arsenal have right now, which is a number of different things, but then you can also recognize the fact that Arsenal went to the San Siro against, by the way, one of the best managers in the world. He's one of the best managers in the world. He's fantastic. We went to the San Siro. Their record in the Champions League this season, they haven't conceded a goal in their ground. You know, like you alluded to, they won the league last season. It's a tough game, and we went there. And again, going back to the point of earning the right to win, we did earn the right to win there, but we didn't. You know, you can be frustrated with Arsenal with certain things, whilst also recognizing that Arsenal should absolutely have won that game. We should have won that game. Forget about a draw. We should have won the game. Like, you know, the second half, the chances we created, the situations generated. And again, I'll keep saying it. You can be frustrated with certain things, and we'll probably talk about it. But we created more than enough to score at least 2 goals yesterday, and we didn't. And that's where you can look at fine margins. You can look at between the boxes that Arteta's mentioned before. But generally, I was really encouraged, and I felt that okay, we play like that against Chelsea, who, bearing in mind, are not as defensively astute as this side that we played yesterday. We'll win the game. We'll win the game. You know, and that's where I came from it. You know, like I tweeted out beforehand in that I want a strong performance because Arsenal, for me, upset me on Saturday. They need to turn up. They need to turn up yesterday, and they did. You know, and I find it crazy how yes, they made a lot of changes, but that side is still a very strong team that he fielded. But I find it crazy that people were demanding a win at the San Siro, like demanding a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to bring up the thing about earning the right to win. That's what you have to focus on. In the same way that I've got a video coming out on TDK, and I said this thing, and I say it at the end, and I'll say it here because people here know and understand football because they're not trying to just react; they're trying to listen. The way to judge a manager, the assessment of a manager can never be win major trophies as a thing. And let me finish. Win major trophies is a bad way of assessing managers because if that's the way you do it, every single team would sack the manager every single year. What you have to assess, the way you assess as an executive in these clubs or as a fan or whatever, is improvement and process and things you can actually control. And against Newcastle, we didn't control the things we can control, and therefore I was really annoyed. But yesterday, I'm looking at this. We control the things we can control. We can't control if the rules are different between the penalties in the Premier League and the Champions League. We can't control that. So why are we going to get angry at our team for not controlling that? We can't control it. What we can control is 79% field tilt. We can control 3.4 expected threat created to 0.2. We can control 24 zone 14 touches to their 3. We can control 31 progressive passes to their 11. We can control, look at those numbers, the expected goals. And by the way, this is Scott Willis's data. I saw, I think XG philosophy had us like over 2 XG. Above 2. And by the way, that is including their penalty, 1.1 in this model. So, you know, I look, obviously it's frustrating, but that game yesterday, I'm looking at the Newcastle game. Newcastle, I was fuming. I really was.
Honestly.
Because the way we approached that game was unacceptable. It was unacceptable. And the lack of fight. I think I saw that the numbers on the duels, again, a thing we can control, so I think we can actually criticize. the numbers of the duels were a disgrace. Like I think we lost like 63% or something. It was like a mad number of our
I
duels.
think the largest in the Premier League this season.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
But sorry to put you
go
there.
on.
Just really quickly. The Newcastle game. What frustrated me about the Newcastle game, and I mentioned it on the main pod with George, and that again, forget about the tactics for a second. The finer details. We have played Newcastle since we won at St James's Park, which is the only time we have done under this Eddie Howe team, was when we had Jorginho, Zinchenko, Xhaka. And do you remember Arteta's quotes in that game after the match? He says, "We can't go physical versus physical against Newcastle. We have to play through pressure, effectively eluding. We have to use our technical quality to break through the lines and to generate chances in that way." The last 2 games that we've played Newcastle at their ground, we went physical versus physical. We played the game to their hands. And there were things such as, I mentioned it to George, in how we conceded 18 fouls against Newcastle. That is falling into their trap, because then they can play the game to the tempo that they want to. And also when we went, and I don't look at the referee. I thought the referee had a pretty good game on Saturday. I thought that was more down to ourselves. And also on the ball. But also on the ball, we were rushing everything. We were looking to play long quite a lot and quite direct. And obviously that is a staple of our play. But in terms of Newcastle, that is something that you don't want to do, especially when you know you're losing that physical battle. You have to be brave. You have to keep your foot on the ball and be patient with it. And we didn't do that. And that's where I was frustrated, in that we've had experience against Eddie Howe Newcastle teams. And every time we've gone physical versus physical, we have lost. We've lost. So,
and just to add to that, I think you're right about that. But also on Inter Milan, I think sometimes we go, well, unless it's City, we should expect to compete and dominate, which, by the way, we did against Inter Milan, especially in the second half. But it should just be a walkover. Like, Inter Milan are a brilliant side. Bayern Munich are a brilliant side. These would be top teams in the Premier League. It's like expecting to just, minute 1 to minute 90, absolutely dominate and, roll over like it's a Leicester. They're not. They're a brilliant team. Like it's. So, however, on the things we can control, there are things I think at the minute that we're struggling with, and things that I would like to see improve. And this is one of the things, right?
Yeah.
Big sort of line in the sand here. Our central access is not good enough. And that's something we can control. I want to show you this. So this is the Zone 14.5 space touches in the Premier League in 24-25. This is put together by Scott Willis from Cannon Stats. The data is by Opta. Can you hear me lisping, by the way? I feel like my tongue feels so big in my mouth.
It's very soothing, to be fair.
By the way, I'm on my hotspot, so apologies if I'm a little bit all over the place.
That's some strong hotspot,
Yeah, 5G, baby. I want to draw your attention to Arsenal. So this is sorted by total touches in Zone 14.5 space touches. So already, for me, there's a bit of a concern that we're 7th in terms of total touches in Zone 14.5 spaces, right? That's already a bit of a concern. Bigger than that is central touches. We've had 165 in the Premier League in 11 games. Central touch, central touches, which is Zone 14.
Yeah.
So 165 touches in the central areas, and how people define that is slightly different. But this model says that the only teams with less central touches than us, have a look, are West Ham, Everton and Wolves.
Yeah.
Oh, and Newcastle as well. West Ham United, Newcastle United, Everton, and Wolves.
Yeah.
That is shocking. That is really shocking. And now, caveat, of course, here we are, caveat nominal. Caveat that we tend to go wide in our the way we create in with Saka and Martinelli. People say, "Oh, teams force us wide." Yeah, everyone's forced wide. No one wants to give up the central areas. We're not the only team who are forced wide, but teams do really force us wide. I think that's a big thing against us. But overall, that is a big problem. I want to bring up another stat as well, just to back that up. So that's one way of looking at it. Another one. This is from. These are our. No, hang on. Is it shots? No, this is it. Zone 14 passes. Here we are. Sorry. So this is from Data Analytics EPL on X. So this is the percentage of the total successful passes into Zone 14. It actually doesn't say on here, but he said it in his original post. This is the passes that go into Zone 14. So the number in Zone 14, so say for Fulham, is the percentage of your successful passes that go in there. So Fulham have had 2.63% of their passes into there. We have had 2.29 of our passes, even getting to the final third, going into Zone 14. That is less than, I think we're 14th. Leicester are better than us. Liverpool are better than us. Chelsea are better than us. West Ham are below us. Wolves are below us. Brighton are better than us. Forest are better than us. Palace are better than us. Manchester United are better than us. City are miles ahead of us. Fulham are better than us. Spurs are better than us. Villa are better than us. Everton are 0.01 behind us.
Yeah.
So our ability to find players in that zone is not good, and it's not good enough. The big issue, of course, is Martin Odegaard, sure.
Yeah.
But Trossard, there's a conversation here around him. Conversation around why we're not using Ethan Nwaneri, why we're not using those spaces, the lack of profiles who can receive in that block, plus the bravery behind the ball to play into those zones. Look, I think if you look at our shot data and stuff, we get a lot of shots on the right side of the box, obviously because of Saka. So, there's swings and roundabouts. We do better in the wide areas. But these are the best zones. If you could choose a zone to have your shots from, to have your access from, it would be here, and we are blocked off from there. It's a big problem. It will be helped with Odegaard, but we need it to change.
It's a problem that has always been there from last season as well. So there was a big shift in the way that Arsenal have altered their approach under Arteta from the end of the 22-23 season to now. And if you go back to the 22-23 season and you look at obviously the introduction to Jesus and Zinchenko, etc., and the significant role change in Granit in that season and the way that teams played against us, we were very brave in finding in that space. We're finding that space, which is Zone 14 is the most threatening space on the pitch outside of the box, because when you're central, you've got the best opportunity to score a goal. That's why teams force you wide, but that's something that teams do to anyone. That is basics of football, and that is not something that has just been happening, over the past 10 years. That's been happening for decades and decades.
The basics of football.
The basics of football. I didn't clock on. But since then, Arsenal have. So the reason why I want to go back towards last season as well, because Zone 14 access, Arsenal wouldn't have ranked that high relative to certain teams in this metric as well last season. And one of the big reasons why, so I'm gonna bring a lot of different points to explain everything. Well, I'm gonna try and explain everything. Is the fact that last 22-23 season, if you remember, Arsenal's way of playing in terms of how they progressed through the lines didn't change whether they were winning, losing, or drawing. There's a graphic behind that in the 22-23 season, and that was a good thing in a sense, but it's also a bad thing in terms of Arsenal being able to control certain games and hold on to leads, etc. Because we were still very brave. Then, and we had a lot of games which we went far too vertical and we conceded big chances. And in the end, there were a lot of reasons as to why we didn't win the title. But one of the things was the significant bravery and the continuous risks that we were taking to find these spaces. And especially Thomas Partey, who's fantastic at it. But we know the pros and cons to that. Then last season, Arsenal went with a more safe and secure approach in which they weren't looking to hit those areas consistently to the same volume as the 22-23 season. And there's pros and cons to that. The pro is the fact that you concede fewer transitions because you're playing safer passes. But the con to that is the fact that you're not going to be able to generate quality chances instantly, because you're going to have to work for your chances. And also there's the caveat of how teams have set up against us. And statistically, teams drop their line heights, I think, deeper, barring Man City against us. We're right up there. So that is a change in approach that we saw. And we're seeing that again this season. And it's become worse, obviously, due to the lack of Odegaard. There are also other caveats in terms of, going down to 10 men, the types of teams we faced already this season. I mean, our fixture schedule has been grueling. However, that still can't be enough to explain why we're below some of those teams that you've already mentioned. We can't be below some of those teams. And it's a combination of things that we can do better, where you look at a lot of games this season where when we've had Declan Rice, he's been playing between the lines high, and when you're looking at our pocket players, let's just look at it, on paper, Declan Rice has been high between the lines a lot this season, just like he was last season as well when we had Jorginho. That is not a player who's going to receive in the pockets in tight spaces, turn, and then drive and carry, like what Ranieri did yesterday, what you saw. He's not that type of profile. And likewise on the right-hand side, remember when we played Bournemouth and we had Marino in that space as well, on the right-hand side where the angles don't suit him. So what we aren't doing well is maximizing the players in those positions and in those zones. Like for example, for me, when Timber plays at left back, and by the way, I thought Timber was fantastic yesterday, but when he is left back, I think he needs to go between the lines and we need to alter our shape because he is comfortable taking the ball in the half turn and driving. Out of anyone else, barring the likes of Ranieri, for example, he's someone who can help us that. So I think there's a thing that we're doing the way we're not maximizing certain players, which is affecting our flow in terms of getting into these areas better. But there's also other caveats I've mentioned. But it's not good enough how we are below the pecking order for the likes of Leicester and Ipswich, and that's where you can throw as many caveats as you want. But there shouldn't be a world in which we're below those teams. Really,
that's 5 caveats. I'm pretty sure. No, I absolutely agree, and I think the way you laid out as well in terms of sort of going through historically is really good. Yeah, I also I don't know if you saw, but before this, I saw a video of Osimhen scoring against Tottenham, and have you seen the video?
Just now. 2 goals, isn't it? Yeah.
Have you seen him scoring?
I've seen both goals. I
don't know if it's the second or the first goal, but the one where it's the cross from exactly where Saka always crosses the ball into someone who can create some space and be that person who's a threat. I actually don't care. You could say to me in my methodology, because I was like, did you see that? I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. The video of Pep saying he loves playing through the center of the pitch. You could say to me as a manager, I hate playing through the middle of the pitch because it leaves you open to transitions, whatever. Fine. In which case, maximize for you're going to go wide and put the ball into the box. That means you need a presence in the box. You need someone who is in there to get on the end of things. If that's what you're doing, I'm okay with that. But then you need an Osimhen. Like it's not a debate at that point. If you're going to do something different, then we can have a conversation. And look, Havertz is great. He's going to score a few goals with his head, but he's not known for, getting someone out of the way. And this is why I talk about the Gyökeres thing, the kind of flat track bully. I don't like Gyökeres out of the box, but what I want is a bully, someone who's going to get across defenders, someone who's going to literally go, get out of my way, I'm going. People are saying in the chat, Sheshko. So if we're going to bypass the centre, this is the thing. I don't believe Arteta doesn't know this. I'm not sat here thinking, oh, yeah, I'm a YouTuber and Mikel Arteta with a pro license. Of course he fucking knows this. Of course he does. My annoyance is, so the question is, why is he doing it? He must know this. And I don't understand. And that's where my annoyance comes, is in that gap where there must be a reason why, but he doesn't do it. And that's my frustration.
It's the big, going back to the central access thing, and yesterday was the first time, for example, when looking at Kai Havertz and Trossard, how people are saying, Arsenal playing this 4-2-4 structure, etc. We're generally not, right? What's happening? What's been happening barring yesterday?
What it is. It's nominal.
It's not.
It's a nominal 4-2-4.
What's been happening is when I've said it many times in here, and it's like a broken record, but when we played through the right-hand side, Kai Havertz is the guy dropping out, stepping outside the block to receive, because then it can potentially open the center of the pitch. But we don't have enough bodies in the center of the pitch then to take that ball as well. And but and that's also impacting us, because again, Kai Havertz is one of those guys who is, because he's playing nominally in the Odegaard role, is he someone who you want in that space predominantly? You don't want him there. You want him high in the centre backs, like we saw yesterday. By the way, one of the good things I saw from yesterday was actually Havertz and Trossard, their roles swapped in the first half. It was Trossard. It was Trossard doing the Odegaard responsibilities of dropping out. The issue was that he was absolutely pants. But Havertz was the one who was pinning the centre backs, and there was a little bit more balance there, especially when we went long and he was holding it up, etc.
Trossard is crap at the minute, isn't he? He's so bad.
Right. So this is one of my annoyances with Arteta. And
wait, before we go on to that, can I just make one more quick point? Also, I cut you off. Sorry, if you want to go back.
No,
I also don't mind but if you're not going to access the centre of the pitch through passing, what you said earlier about Timber is bang on. Go through the carries. Go through the carries, allow a Timber to... Maybe he would with the Calafiori, I don't know. But like we haven't seen the team at its full strength. And maybe he will with Declan Rice when he comes deeper. I don't know. But at the moment, we're not seeing it. And last night was a perfect opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, the thing with the frustration with Timber is, again, I thought he was excellent yesterday. But again, in possession, I don't think we're using him in the way that is going to maximize that side as well. Yeah. Where Timber, when I've said it many times, I think Timber, his quality on the ball rises as he goes higher up the pitch, particularly centrally. But when you have him deeper as one of your build-up progressors, I think he impacts the angles way too much on the left-hand side. I really do. I think it affects the flow of the game there. But once he's higher, you really see his quality. And especially when we're talking about players like and Nwaneri did yesterday, when that moment where he receives it under pressure, he turns, he carries, drives, and he commits players to step out. That's something that we're missing. And the frustrating thing about Trossard is that Arteta, as you've alluded to, we know he knows the issues. He's too smart not to know it. But I feel like a trend in his tenure is that he's late to react to these things, where he knows it, but he won't do it for some reason early on. Like you go back to Holding and Kivior. I'm not saying we would have won the league with Kivior, but again, I think it would have given us a better chance. You've got that situation. You've got in the previous season, Lacazette and Nketiah. Lacazette was stinking up everything. He was awful. And it took Lacazette, I think, to get COVID before Eddie Nketiah got his opportunity. I think that's what it was. I might be wrong there.
No, I think you're right.
And then we've got this situation where, again, people will throw to me and they'll say how Nwaneri's 17, etc. We don't have the players to play in the pocket. We don't have enough depth there. But we sold our depth in Fabio Vieira and Emile Smith-Rowe. And again, he didn't use them last season. So I'm not going with that stance. The stance I'm going with is play Nwaneri.
Yeah.
Play him.
That's
the stance I have.
That's how I feel.
So
and this is the thing, is like I actually don't really, I do care about play style. I do. Yeah. But like if I had to rank it, obviously results are more important. So I don't care what you do really as a manager. I think there's a couple of things that I'm like, if you're just going long ball, I probably have some questions and stuff. But if you want to access a central third wide or inside, I don't really mind. If you want to go with a false nine or a centre forward, I don't really mind. I probably have a preference for like bully centre forwards, but whatever. But if you're going for this way of playing, if you're gonna do this, you're not maximizing it. You're like it's very obvious. And again, it comes back to what I just said. It's like the feeling of knowing that he knows that he must know. He like, even after games, I find this really interesting. He will always have a stat. He'll be like, I remember this game really early on, which was quite nice. I remember like hearing it and going, oh, it was, I don't know if you remember it. I think it might be the Newcastle game we lost. It was in 2020. And he went, that's the first time apparently we've had 33 crosses. The more we do that, the better. I was like, oh,
it was against Spurs. It was against Spurs.
Spurs. In between speaking to the players and speaking to the media, you looked at the numbers. You know the numbers. See, he will know all these numbers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's, and it's his coach's jobs, especially the likes of Carlos Cuesta, etc. So, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't care. I don't care if it's carries. I don't care if it's half space crosses. I don't care if it's I don't care. Just if you're going to do it, commit to it.
Also, again, I'm going a little bit off topic here, but do you know what really annoyed me about the Newcastle game, right? Is when Nwaneri came on, and there were a couple of scenarios, I don't know if you remember it, on the right-hand side, where he doesn't recognize the trigger to do the underlap, where we kind of, we funnel towards the right-hand side, and he doesn't make the underlap, and then Ben White hits into that space, and it goes out for a goal kick. And it happened twice. And the narrative, well, I'm not going to say narrative because, again, you know how you always say it, it's like a couple of people will say it on social media and you'll think it's like massive.
Arsenal fans are saying one person.
Yeah, but what really irritated what really irritated me was when people were using those two scenarios from Nwaneri to say, oh, he's not ready. He's making these mistakes. Yeah. Mate, How are senior players not making mistakes? Have they not literally been making mistakes for the entirety of that game? And for you to single him in those two scenarios, I think that is so disingenuous. Like, and I'm not saying Ethan Wanyeri should be starting every single game, but he should be used a lot more. We have, what more can he do?
Bro,
Genuinely, what more can
I'm
he
telling
do?
you, Wanyeri thinks he's ready.
Yeah.
So this, and also I hate this thing where people go, oh, but if he has a bad game, it's going to ruin his development. Bro, if you're a young guy trying to get into the game and one game ruins your entire career, you weren't ready. You were never gonna make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You honestly, if one bad game when you're 17, where stupid fans on social media are going to go, "You're rubbish today, mate," and move on, and they won't care because he's 17, or forget about it in about 2 weeks. If that ruins your career, you genuinely were never cut out for in the first place. It's the same thing about the whole like, oh, if we add a Maverick, we don't want to upset the dressing room. There's 23 people in there. If one person ruins it, it wasn't good in the first place.
That tells me more about the individual
Exactly.
who's writing about it. It's just like, and do you know what? Even Wanyeri, that moment where he takes it and then he drives forward and he blasts it into Mars. You know, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I didn't even. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, there was the moment. You know, he should do better." No, I love that. You know, that is what we missed in the game. That is what we missed. Like, I'm telling you again. I like I said already, we earned the right in that game to win that match yesterday. 100% in my mind, no doubt about it. But I just feel like we could have generated more threat by having a little bit more balance with Ethan Wanyeri in the team there. You know, you just think of how it would have been perfect having Ethan Wanyeri where Trossard was playing, and then you've got Havertz, but it would have been perfect, genuinely.
Even Jesus.
It's frustrating.
Even Jesus,
Yeah,
Trossard was... He had such a bad game. He was not good. Not good at all.
So you hate Trossard. You've always hated Trossard.
He is the worst player in our team. So clear, so sad. Frankly,
I am getting the
they said Trossard was the worst. So bad.
I am getting the we're not comparing the players, but I'm getting the holding Kivior, Lacazette and Ketia, these types of vibes and persisting with certain players in the 11 where it's not working now.
I will say what you said earlier about he changes late, but he always changes. I will say.
This is the thing. He always changes. This is the thing. This is what he knows. He knows what's wrong right now.
And he will do it. He just waits too long.
But this is where I think it is his stubbornness as well, in which he believes in his initial plan so much. Yeah. And he'll continue to try it. Like, this will not be the last time where the Bournemouth game, which we had Marino, Partey, Rice, all in midfield. That's not the last time you would have seen that. I can guarantee you we will see that again. Yeah. We will see that again.
Do you think, and this is pure conjecture, but do you think there's a part of him, because he's definitely got a burner, 100%. Do you think there's a part of him that's like wants to like prove fans wrong occasionally? Just be like, let me show you why it worked. I don't want to believe that, but there's a part of me that's like,
Do you think?
I hope not. Bro, Trossard, like, can I? Yeah, I just like.
Go on, I'll let you go for it. Yeah,
he does nothing. What do you do? But you're so good at football. You're so efficient. But in this role, you are nothing. You are nothing. You are a fool. You are a waste of time. Good night.
Good night.
Just like he doesn't attack the last line. He doesn't receive well in the pocket. He doesn't drop out the block. He doesn't like attack the centre backs. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't pull wide. He's not like he's not dropping in build up. He's not a reference. Like what are you in this role? I don't get it. And that's on Mikel. I'm blaming Trossard, but like
that's on Mikel. Yeah.
What is he?
It's quite funny, right? It's not funny.
And I'm seriously asking, what's his job?
In this, well, that was the first time he played in that role yesterday, right?
He's not quick. He doesn't win duels. Like,
it was a car crash. The frustrating thing is that we've had weeks, and I've been saying it weeks and weeks. So I don't think we have been maximizing Kai Havertz nor the team with the role that he's been given. And now we swapped them where I think Havertz is in the role that maximizes him, but then we put Trossard in a role that just doesn't make sense for him. And this is where there's even more frustration. We've not seen even Nwaneri earlier. I'm finding it very difficult. I'm finding it very difficult to hear anything that suggests otherwise. Why Nwaneri shouldn't be starting. I just.
Oh, right. Can we return to my Trossard shouts? Do we remember?
On what?
Do we remember in the summer? I put a proposal forward. I believe on it would have been TDK Live at the time. I believe on this show that if we had a £30 million offer for Trossard, and we'd done the stuff we needed to, as in we'd signed an Osman or whatever. It was early on in the summer. I said if we signed the right player, we raised the ceiling, we did the thing what we need to do. If we had no offers for Jesus and we wanted 30 and we got £30 million for a 29-year-old, would you take it? I'm pretty sure you said no.
I said yes, and I stand by that. I stand by it because I don't blame Trossard.
How wrong you were. How wrong. You got something wrong. Feel bad.
Nah, I don't.
Something wrong. I've never got anything wrong in my life. I've never been wrong about football in my life.
You haven't, to be fair. You haven't. No, I still stand by. Listen, I'm someone who's very, very open. In which, when I'm wrong, I'll say it. I still stand by that. I see this more on the manager in terms of his usage of Trossard. He shouldn't be in the team right now, and he should be coming off the bench. That's where I stand in it. And I can guarantee you, I think Trossard's impact would have been higher. I mean, the bar is not being set very high these recent weeks. It would be higher him coming off the bench. I really do think that. I see this more down to the manager, personally.
You all laughed at me. I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you?
How many milkshakes has that guy had thrown at him? Like,
quite a lot. Someone put a twerk for work said, I feel I should drop a super chat every time this geezer does an accent. I have a name, but my phone don't allow me.
Geezer.
Twerk for work. That sounds like an excuse, mate. I want a £4,500 super chat to pay for my tooth.
Pay for your
and implant. I will do it. Right. I will do. If someone drops me $4,500, I'll do a 48-hour live stream as Pep. I should just do that anyway for charity or something.
48 hours.
No, I'm not doing that. Actually, I've said that, but I completely don't agree. Right.
Realize how crazy that is.
Here we go. Rohan, let's cheer ourselves up by having a bit of fun. Oh, let's have a bit of fun in our lives. Should we do it? If you've joined late, you can go back to the top and I've explained the tooth thing. I won't explain it again just because people are probably bored of me talking about it. But there you go. Right, Rohan, here we go. Just Tom says, how much for you not to do that? Okay. Let me just close a couple of the things. I've got to close my program. Here are the categories. We are going to rank as a podcast, as a collective, with nearly 300 people in here watching the demise.
I think this is good therapy. I was not gonna lie. I actually was looking forward to this because it's a nice way to just discuss and chat about. Honestly, and I felt better after yesterday. I'll tell you what, if we had this on like Monday, I would have been miserable. Honestly, I was. I went on a run on Saturday, like straight after the game. Like I went on a run.
I can't lie. Instant reactions are always such good therapy, but before them, when we've lost, I'm literally like, I can't be asked.
Honestly.
It's like a run. Before it, you never want to do it because you're like, this is going to be horrible, but it's always better. You always make it better. Share screen. Right. Here is our tier list of the biggest problems at Arsenal right now. Can you all see that? Can you all see my screen?
I can see it. What's the emojis at the top there? We got the emojis.
I don't know. I don't know what they are. on tier list
got
website.
The poo emoji.
Right, you can all see it. Right. So the categories are, you can see at the bottom here, Mikel Arteta, the Cronkies, and the sort of, I'll say sort of Mikel and the coaching staff and the coaching and Mikel.
Yeah.
The Cronkies and the board and the manager, the board and so on. Arsenal fans, but I'm saying like fan expectation, sort of what we are expecting. Luck, represented by a little lucky 8 ball down here. The players, that's an image from last year. Just realised that's annoying. Our title rivals. Bold men from the north.
That absolute melt. I can't stand that guy.
Bold men from the north, aka refereeing in the PGMOL. The media, which most people mean Gary and Jamie, so I'll put Gary and Jamie. That's who they mean, don't they? I watched the video of the overlap on tour.
I saw a bit of a passive aggressiveness there.
That's who they mean. I'm paid to defend them. So I saw a video of the overlap on tour earlier, and they were like waxing each other's nose hair, and then they showed the nose hair. I was like, we're in the age of personal content. I've shown my dating profile on here. I'm not showing you.
Did you get new pics? Did you get new pics from Malta?
I always forget, bro. Because I never think.
Alex.
I never think. I've got a new profile though. So at some point I'll show you. Edu, or well, let's say the recruitment. Sorry, not Edu because he's leaving. The recruitment. Win the dog and my tooth. You can't quite see that, but there's a little. I think that's our top problem. I would say my missing tooth is pretty high on the list. I think we should try and get one top problem. So how many are there? Oh, and also there's an extra category here if we think of something else. So I think
me and you should do it first, and then we can challenge, can't we? You know, like last week,
then we'll do the same thing. We'll do challenge. We'll do challenge.
Yeah.
I would think we should do 1 in top, 2 in big, 3 in yes, and everything else can kind of be around. That's my feeling, because I don't want to like put everything in. This is a big problem because you gotta, but also you don't want to put nothing in there. Do you know what I mean? So fine balance, guys. Right, you start. Do you want to pick a category?
Yeah, let's start with luck. Where do you think, Alexander?
Luck. Well, hang on. I asked you.
Oh. So wait. So this is a problem. So look in this context.
Ranking the biggest problems. We have our top problem. There is 1. We have 2 big problems. We have 3. Yes, they're a problem. And then you can have as many kinda or no, it's not a problem as you want.
I don't think you can put luck to injuries. I put yes. I put yes.
Why would you put luck in yes? It's a problem.
Well, okay, I'm a bit, so in the context of this tier, luck being a problem, I would say the injuries that we've had so far this season, certain decisions that haven't gone our way, that has ultimately led to Arsenal dropping points, and they could be higher in the table if we isolate it to that. So I think it has been a problem, and we haven't had the fine margins go our way in many scenarios. At the same time, there are things that we haven't done well that are down to ourselves, like Bournemouth, for example, like Newcastle, for example. But I do think that it has played a part so far this season.
I'd agree with that. Oh, yeah. Jonathan K, fixture list. That could be the question mark. That could be the other category, because I always thought there might be something else. That could be fixtures. Yeah. I'm going to say that's fixtures, and I'm going to take that.
Can you do a quick edit now? Yeah.
Fixtures. I don't know if I can, but we all know what that is. Fixtures. I'm going to say. I'm also going to put in yes. Oh, but there's a lot to come. I'm going to put in yes, because
we can move it around as well, don't we?
We can move it around, because realistically, I think I worked out the other day, in the first 10 games, we played 7 teams in the top half, and 2 were at home. We've had a horrible start to the season, and on paper you don't really look at it, but and especially with what's happened in terms of injuries, like.
And the Champions League games as well, Alex. They've been hard.
Champions League have been hard. And obviously, look, there's games like Bournemouth away that became hard. And I'm not putting that in a hard category. But like Villa away, Spurs away, City away, Liverpool at home. Yeah. They are all in my top
difficult games.
5, maybe 10. Maybe not 5. So all of them are at some point in the top 5 or 10. So I think we've had a tough time of it fixture-wise.
Absolutely. Agree to
that. Where's Win the Dog?
You put that immediately in now. I'm a dog lover. We love dogs.
I think it's kind of a problem.
Deal.
I think Win's kind of a problem because the plush toy that they make of Win shows what's wrong with this club.
I think we need a Rotty. We need a Rottweiler.
We need a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Recruitment.
Are we isolating it to the window that we've just had?
I think so. There's always going to be a degree of subjectivity. There was someone who was really struggling with our tier list last time about some subjectivity. There's going to be subjectivity. Yeah. Up to you.
I think it should be from the window that we just had. I think it'd be very disingenuous to suggest that Arsenal's recruitment has been bad. You know, as a whole, I think it's been excellent.
How would you put it?
I would put it. It's between yes and kinda, given how we've used certain players, and I'm looking at Raheem Sterling, for example. That's at this current moment, that's our only attacking signing, and we're using him sparingly.
I had the most social media moment of all time earlier. I put star in caps as it stands. Sterling is a miss, and the second comment was he's only played a certain amount of games. I know.
Go and have a look.
I know. I said as it stands.
Nah. Go and have a look at my one of my latest replies on X, and I've got a little picture / meme that I'm going to be rinsing time and time again.
Is it the one I sent you?
No, it's this one where it's like how social media works. I prefer mangoes to oranges. Random person. So basically, what you're saying is you hate oranges. You also failed to mention pineapples, bananas, and grapefruits. Educate yourself. I'm literally shaking. I'm going to be using that time and time again when people can't read.
That's so funny. I saw this the other day and I was like, this is perfect. Wait, hang on. I'm just going to show you this. This thing. Hi, most annoying person you've ever encountered here.
You sent this.
I noticed this post you wrote in 3 seconds doesn't line up with every experience I've ever had. This is extremely harmful to me, the main character of the universe. I was like, that's Twitter. That is Twitter. Right, back to the tier list.
No, but I think it's got to be put in. I'm going to put in yes.
Okay. We'll put it there for now because it's your pick, but I might challenge that. I think
you're higher. I think you're going to.
No, I'd go kinda.
Yeah.
As in kind of, not like kinda for you Americans.
But then I'm being a little bit hypocritical because I was happy with. Happy is a strong word. I gave the window a solid 7 out of 10, both in terms of incomings and outgoings. In fact, I think I gave it a 7.5 actually. Yeah, 7.5. So, yeah, but things change. Things can change.
The Cronkies, I'm going to go with, and I'm going to say no, not at the moment.
Agree.
I don't know what else they can do. I don't, and I'm not saying that the Cronkies are perfect, but what I'm saying is, are they our problem at the moment? I don't think so. They might be. They might have been, but right now.
Since 2018, can we say that Stan Kroenke, and again, all the big clubs have invested, everyone has invested money, have the Kroenkes backed their talk in terms of what they were going to do? They have. They absolutely have. Look at them.
Kroenke.
Is it Kroenke?
Who is Kroenke?
I didn't say Kroenke.
No, you didn't.
I didn't say Kroenke. But KSE.
KSE.
KSE. But I think
the manager.
Since they've gained full ownership of the
football, you, Wenger, and you can see this. Turn your resignation in.
Well, it's the famous Chris Hudson, isn't it? Famous Chris Hudson. But I think since 2018, since they've gained full ownership of the football club, they have invested a lot of money into the squad, into the infrastructure, everything around the club. It is moving in an upward trajectory in all aspects. Well, to say all is quite, is a bold statement, but in the majority of aspects. And I think that people will look at the lack of investment when you talk about net spend, etc., being close to minimal. But you have to recognize the fact that they have spent a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money in previous windows. That has led to Arsenal needing to move to a more self-sustaining model. That is the idea. We haven't been able to sell well previously due to previous regimes not being proactive with contracts, contract management. And this was the first one which we were able to sell players. We had to raise money in order to be able to spend as well. And I think that was the idea. It's not to say that they are broke. They're obviously not broke. They're one of the richest. They're one of the richest businesses in the world. But I don't think that we can look at Stan Kroenke's tenure since they've gained full ownership and say they have been a problem. Nor do I think they are a problem right now. I think everything they say, especially Josh Kroenke, he's very transparent with what he says, and I actually see him back his talk as well. Arsenal may not have won the league. They may not have won the Champions League. In fact, they've not won anything since 2020. But I've seen the ambition from the owners to invest in this squad, and they have. So,
Dial Square says, KSE, the common denominator in Arsenal's downfall, still yet to win a major under them, but fans lap it up. Are we deluded, Rohan?
But what do people want them to do? Have we not spent a lot of money?
Josh Kroenke can't play centre forward.
Have they not given Arsenal the resources?
Yeah.
You could argue this window that they haven't. You could argue that. But again, I've provided a lot of context. Arsenal, right? COVID hit Arsenal more than most clubs in the Premier League. Because in terms of matchday revenue, our revenue coming from matchday was, I think it's from a percentage point of view, was higher than any of the so-called big six clubs, I think it was, by a significant margin. And that's what Arsenal have done really well commercially over the last year and a half or so with, I can't remember what her name is. I think it's Slot something, surname? Slot? Yeah, they've done well. Slot. Juliet Slot, that's it. Yeah, they've done much better in that regard. But Arsenal, through the combination of the COVID impact and also players being let go because they had no value and nobody would be looking to buy them, they had to invest a lot of money to get Arsenal to where they are. And now this is the first window in which we had to start recruiting. We had to raise money internally to be able to show that we can operate more self-sustaining. I find it very difficult to pinpoint the blame at the Kroenkes in any moment of adversity that we see on the pitch. I find that difficult to agree with, especially when we consider, like I've just said, the context of the investment that has gone into the squad over the years. And again, that's not to say that that's not to say that other clubs have spent that money as well. But from our perspective, they've spent a lot of money. In terms of, they've spent more money than other clubs from a perspective of we've not had players to raise that money, previously, barring the last window that we just had. Sorry, that was a lot of waffle, but
I back what you're saying, and I just think, look, you can go back and talk, okay, when they were stuff with Usmanov and they've been here since 2011 and we haven't won a Premier League, but since 2018, in the remit of what an ownership can do, they've done pretty well. And right now, which is what the question is, are they a problem for the club? No. Could they be moving forward? Maybe. Do they have enough ambition? We'll see. But have they spent money? Yes. Have they improved our commercial aspect? Yes. Have they put record bids in on the women's side to improve the women's team? Yes. Are they being proactive with the academy and do we feel like we're cash strapped for resources? No. Stan Kroenke can't play centre back. So in terms of what he can do,
I think it's an easy way to not look at certain other problems.
The media top problem. I would say Jamie Carragher comparing Mikel Arteta to Jose Mourinho. I haven't slept. I can't eat anything.
You're an evil man. You are.
I think it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I put it in kinder. It doesn't help. But there is this thing. I think sometimes when people think what happens is as well, it's because so many people view everything. They view football through screens, and when you get in the ground and you're not just watching it through Twitter, people watch football like through Twitter. So it's just constant narrative. So you think what I'm not disrespecting Jamie Carragher here, but what Jamie Carragher thinks affects football on some level. It doesn't. It's an opinion. It might this is the whole thing about the referees, and we're not going to go into that. But like in the back of the mind, maybe subconsciously it might have affected something one day. But we're going down such a rabbit hole that I'm like, it's just not a big problem. I think what it is, it's a very easy target, in my opinion, to go after people. It's just their opinion. And by the way, Jamie Carragher was totally wrong about the Jose Mourinho thing, and his explanation was rubbish because it's just not true. So I don't agree with him. It's rubbish. He's saying rubbish, but it doesn't matter.
No.
People think it really matters.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, I felt he was very disingenuous with his take, but in terms of the grand scheme of Arsenal's problems on the pitch, him talking about that is not going to influence anything.
It just doesn't matter.
So I think kinda is fair. Like I said many times, I think certain narratives that do come through certain mainstream media outlets can subconsciously affect something, but it's not enough for me to put yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of
it's not a problem for Arsenal.
So kinda is
bold people from Manchester.
Put it top. I'm sick and tired of these referees, honestly. Sick and tired.
You going top? Genuinely?
No. Referees. It's at a minimum, yes. I think.
What was question marks again? Oh, a fixture list.
It was fixtures list.
I'd be willing to go big, by the way.
Yeah, I think it is big. Yeah, I think
like the standard of refereeing, 100%. I'd go big.
Have the referees cost Arsenal points this season in multiple games?
Yeah.
And we're only yes. So it has been a problem, hasn't it?
Yes. However, I don't think any of the calls. Okay, I don't stick with me. I don't think any of the calls are wrong, but the rules are rubbish, and the application of the rules are all rubbish.
I don't think the Rice ones. I don't think it's delaying a restart, Alex.
No, that's what I'm saying. The rules are rubbish. That's what I'm saying. But
aren't you saying that he's delayed? But aren't you saying so? But what you're saying, so according to those rules, he should have been sent off.
By the letter of the law, he should have been sent off. So I'm not disagreeing with
it. But I don't agree with that.
But I'm basically doing the Man City thing. I'm arguing the rules. I'm not arguing the case. I'm arguing the rules.
Yeah. I just think. I think the Trossard one against Man City, cool, fine. You send him off for that. I get that, but again, you're not consistent in the game. You're not consistent with other scenarios that happen.
Hang on, Highbury Ultra. Hang on. We spent about 20 minutes critiquing Mikel earlier, and we're going to critique him in a minute.
We have literally. Oh my god, this is what frustrates me. And again, maybe you've not watched the start of it. What I hate, right? And again, not directing this at you, but what I hate about social media. What I hate. But social media sometimes it's like I had people like yesterday when I said, I was happy with our performance. Like, oh, classic, just agreeing with everything Arteta says. Mate, literally, look at my feed since the Newcastle game. I've been
being sarcastic. We're just too sensitive.
Again, sorry, yeah, we're too sensitive. Maybe I'm a bit sensitive recently. Maybe I am. Maybe we are.
Sorry, Highbury Ultra.
Maybe.
Love you.
That was.
Are we saying refs big problem? Well, that was your pick. So you saying refs big problem?
I think refs are a big problem. And I'm not just saying that strictly to Arsenal, but I think generally is the referees are a big problem in this country.
Don't know. I know that's what you're saying. I'm saying by the letter of the law, it is, but the law is rubbish. So that's what we're saying. We're saying it shouldn't be delaying the restart. We're saying the same thing. I'm just saying it in a different way. Okay, let's do the players. The players. I'm gonna put it in kinda, because I think there's certain players that I think can do better, but I'm not looking at loads and loads and loads and loads of players and saying you're a problem. I'm looking at certain players and saying you need to work on this. But the development generally individually is pretty good. Their commitment's pretty good. As a group, they seem like a nice set. They seem professional. We don't have problems with them. Do you know what I mean? It's not a. I don't think it's fair, really.
Do you think we should have play? So this for me, this tier list should be in the context of the current season. We can't. Yeah,
it's our current problems.
Yeah,
it's current.
Yeah, it's our current problem. So I feel like the players and Arteta should be together as one.
No, because that's what creates the juice.
Juice.
The juice of the pod.
The juice.
The juice of the podcast.
Yeah, I'll come back to that one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got 3 left. Well, we actually got 5 left because we haven't categorized win or my tooth, but okay. How about you take Mikel Arteta? By the way, chat, you're gonna have a chance to challenge in a minute. We did this on the tier list last week. Basically, what you do is you write challenge and you say you want one moved up, one moved down, and your reasoning, and we'll take it. And we, in fairness, when we did the tier list last week, there was we moved a lot. So
yeah, we did. I would actually put him in the context of this current season. I would put him in kinda.
Okay.
But close to yes. But I don't think there've been enough games for me to put yes.
How about let's do it this way? Where they are matters. So I'd move the players actually over. So if you're closer to here, that means you're closer to the next.
I'd put Arteta ahead of the players.
Yeah. If you're closer to the side, the left, you're closest to the next category.
Yeah. I think he's bordering on yes. I think certain things, as we've alluded to, in terms of mentioning the main pod, mentioned it in previous pods as well. There's certain things I just don't agree with, and I find it so. Martin Odegaard, for example, coming into the team is going to improve Arsenal for sure. But for me, there have been things that we could have done that would have allowed us to mitigate the loss of Martin Odegaard in these last few games, in my opinion. And I think that's down on the manager. Now, I'm not saying that it would have been perfect, but I'm saying that it would definitely have helped us, in my opinion. So I do think he's been a little bit of a problem.
So you're saying it is a problem?
What would you say?
I'd agree.
I don't think I can put nah. I can't put nah.
He's causing us some issues, but he also has so much responsibility and gets so much right. Like, you have to consider that if he's in the same category as the media, like I'm not sure that's fair, but he's also in the same category of the players, and he has way more responsibility than each individual player. So it's difficult to say. We'll come back to it in a second. Our rivals, I'm going to put in kinda, and I'm going to put there.
And is the reason that in the context of how good they are, right? And how good we think they are.
And the reason I'm going to say that is a couple of years ago, I might have put that in yes or big. But now, the problems we've had this season, we were better than Liverpool and better than City. I'm sorry, in those games we were. We were better than both of them. 100%. I have no doubt in my mind. So
I agree.
So our problems are not based on how good they are anymore. They're not going to get 90 points. If we lose this title, it is going to be on us. There'll be aspects of the fact that Liverpool are good, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
No, I agree with that. Again, when we look at the threat of City, this is what annoys me is when people are, and I get it because it is the nerves of what we have seen City do over the years. And they've won 4 in a row. They've won. I think they've won six league titles now.
Rohan, I thought. Sorry, Rohan, your mic's gone weird.
Has it? On?
Yeah. Wait.
Oh God.
I thought it was me. Sorry.
Now?
Maybe leave and come back.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, chat. I thought that was me for a second because I'm on hotspot. But yeah. There you go. Just us. Right. While we're here, put the referees in now. Put the media in top. I'd say my tooth is a big problem. You're back.
How's that?
Yeah, you're good.
Goodness.
I've no idea. I've honestly no idea.
Yeah.
I was moving stuff around.
But I find it difficult to agree with the idea that Arsenal are the title race, firstly, and people are alluding to Manchester City's previous campaigns, in which they've accumulated ridiculous points. But we are ignoring the big context of Manchester City are going to go an entire season without Rodri, nor do they look good at the moment, And again, people can say, God's sake. And people can say, Manchester City do notoriously start slow. I hear that, but I just don't think this is the same Manchester City. And I think the Rodri factor is massive. And I also think Liverpool. I watched the Brighton game. I caught a fair bit of it. And mate, honestly, Brighton could have been 2 or 3 up in that first half. Seriously. They could have been 2 or 3 0. I'm not saying that he's not doing a good job. He is doing a really good job. Fair play to him. But I'm just not as worried as opposed to previous seasons, despite the fact that we have a deficit.
I don't want to sound like I'm just making excuses, but 11 v. The thing is, you have to do a lot of caveats, but they're important caveats. Caveat. How many is that, Essie? How many is that? Caveat.
500.
Nominally. It's annoying you have to do so many caveats, but 11 v 11 is a big caveat, and over a bigger sample, and with our best players on the pitch, and they're annoying caveats to have to make, but they're huge ones,
and you have to consider them.
You have to consider them.
Yeah,
we've not been worse than anyone. I'd say we've been one of the best teams in the league.
So what's annoying, right? It was okay. We've had a bad week in terms of results. The Liverpool game. Can anyone sit here and say that Arsenal? Can anyone be disappointed with our performance given the context of the players that we had out and the chances that we generated in that game? Do we not think that we should have won that game? Because I think we should have. We should have won that game. That wasn't too long ago. It wasn't too long ago. I just don't think the threat of our rivals.
You just don't think, Rohan. You just don't think.
I just don't think.
You just don't think. Final one, our fans and their expectations. It's not a problem because that does affect the club. And by the way, the fans and what the fans think is way more impactful on clubs than the media. By the way,
you have 2 sides as well, don't you? You have
because they literally listen to the fans. They literally will be like, "What do you guys think?" Because they pay their money. They don't care what Gabby Agbonlahor says on TalkSport. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes. But how much that affects it and how much is it of a problem in sort of having our, what's the word? How much it affects us, I suppose, is a simple way of saying it.
But is it in the context of what? Arteta's job security or what? Yeah, I'm a bit...
Yeah. Also, it's difficult because I kind of speak about this in a TDK video, which you can check out at the different knock. I'm the same guy, actually. If anyone's not noticed.
Are you?
No. I think we're getting a little bit tired and familiar with Arteta.
I do hear that.
And I think what's happening is it's that thing of the manager is kind of like, it's like when you're in a relationship for a really long time and you just kind of get bored a little bit.
You have the honeymoon period at the start.
You have the honeymoon period. And then they're doing the things that annoy you again and again and again. And you're like, please stop doing that.
That becomes icks. So they weren't icks at the start.
They weren't icks at the start.
And then they become icks. Yeah.
But they're now icks, right?
Yeah.
So you have the 20-year annoyance at the club, which the people at the club, the Cronkies weren't even there 20 years ago. Yeah. The manager certainly wasn't there 20 years ago. The players certainly weren't. Most of them, weren't even born. So they were. So, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think it's hard to, because we just get used to the manager and we get used to him and we get annoyed at his faults that we see over and over again. And we think he's the guy who we're like, oh, he's doing it again. It's so annoying. We need to get rid of this guy. Every manager has problems, and I don't care who you are, you will have a problem. So you have to pick your problems.
I don't think the fans are a problem.
I don't think they are either.
Because I think so. You know how you mentioned it, and it's spot on. In like, you look on Twitter and you'll see a few voices, and then both positive or negative, and then it's projected large scale, and you think it's like a massive audience when really it might be a big audience, but it's not necessarily going to influence certain things. It's not going to influence certain things. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see it as frustrating as it can be and as toxic as it can be at times, especially.
I think it can create a toxic atmosphere in the state. I think it does affect things more.
But I don't think right now. I think like, again, from everyone who I talk to, who's there, who's like a traveling fan, goes home and away, etc. everyone's on board with him. Everyone's on board
Yeah,
with
and
Arteta. So I don't see it being a problem right now.
Always say it, like we have so much media and we're just scrolling Twitter all day, and then it makes us think that everyone's constantly arguing. They're not.
Yeah.
It's like a few people. We haven't actually chosen a top.
Where was central access? He had central access, no?
I will say no. I suppose that's under Arteta. I will say I'm going to have to put my tooth in. Not a problem for Arsenal. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
I'm going to put win in, not a problem as well. Sorry. I like that our my tooth missing is a bigger problem than win. What are we saying? Or win's a bigger problem than my tooth?
Get win at the end now.
Yeah.
If you put win anywhere else, you hate dogs.
So theoretically, we're saying the biggest problem is the refereeing. I don't really agree with.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking. Do you know what I thought? I thought you had I thought you had a category of central access. I was going to have.
Is that a cop out?
I genuinely think look. I think look should be higher. I do think look should be higher.
We got to have 3. So let's do that. So this is at the moment we have. Let's set this and then we can do challenges. So we're going to start with challenges. At the moment we have.
I want to central access there as well. Like as it.
That's under Arteta.
Okay. Fine.
I would say.
Yeah.
And his instructions. Top number 1 is our luck, which feels a bit. I don't know if I like that. Our 2 big issues are our fixture list, which is the wildcard category, and the refereeing in this country, not just the refereeing that's happened to us, like the inconsistency of the refereeing. And I'm happy with that, by the way, in being in there all top, genuinely. Yeah. Do I like it as top? I don't know. Our 3 yeses are the recruitment. That feels a bit harsh. I'm going to pull that down. Our 3 yeses are Arteta at the top of yes. The players in the middle are yes, and the recruitment at the bottom are yes. Kind of, we've got 3, which is the fixtures. Sorry, not the fixtures. The competition, the fans' expectations, and the media at the bottom of kinda. And then we have 3 no's, which are the Cronkies, my tooth, and win.
In terms of, I do think luck it covers a broad spectrum of different things, because luck can be attributed to injuries, and we have been really unlucky with injuries, haven't we?
Injuries is included there. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think luck is not just suggesting that Arsenal missed this chance here, therefore they were unlucky. Like they scored a goal from an XG of 0.002, therefore we're unlucky. It's not just that. It's looking at factors such as injuries. It's looking at factors such as red cards as well. That for me, I don't think that we have deserved some of the red cards that we've got this season so far, and I'll stand by that. And they're quite massive. You know, it may be only 2 categories, but that is big. And then when you the 11v11 metrics, and I know people could say that's a cop up, but I don't think it's a cop up, because it shows you what Arsenal are capable of when they have 11 men on the pitch. The numbers are pretty promising, you know. So I do think that. I don't think it's a cop out. I think it can be attributed to quite a few things. Look, so. Yeah.
Okay, I've put a example of what we need for the challenges in the chat. So what you do is challenge, ideally in capitals, if we're gonna be sensible and professional.
Yeah, because it needs to jump out.
Challenge. You need to tell us what you want. So move luck to big and move referees to top, and then you need to tell us why. That is the format. First one from Fury. Challenge. The refs have to be top. Fury, you haven't. Would you let us know who you want to move? Because we need to know who to move down. I'm presuming you mean move luck down.
I do think. Again, I just find
cost us against Brighton, Bournemouth, City, and Liverpool somewhat. Comes down to maths, really. If not for these foolish decisions, we'd easily be second, if not top.
I think so. Looking at those specific games, I do think he has massively influenced the game state in the Brighton game. If you go back and watch the first half, it was really encouraging. A lot of really good things that we saw. The Bournemouth game, I stand by it. I think that was a red card for Saliba. I do. I stand by that. I think it was. The Man City game, I find it very difficult to sit here and say that the referee didn't influence that game, where you can argue by the letter of the law that Leandro Trossard should have been sent off, but I didn't see consistency in that specific game for those calls.
It's
I
a
didn't
rubbish
see
rule.
it,
It's a rubbish rule.
But he's not even doing it consistently in the game. If you're going to do the rule, do it consistently. Book Doku when he levers it into Rose Ed. Or whatever, I can't remember what he did now. If that was Jao Pedro, actually, but Doku does something very similar. That's influenced the game state. That's influenced it. The Liverpool game, I'm not going to put it down to the Canate one. Oh, I'm still torn on that one. The penalty.
Do you know what's funny though? And I always talk about this. I saw loads of Liverpool fans saying we won every 50-50. So I'm not saying
we did.
Yeah, and I'm not. And my friend, his Liverpool fan, said he felt the referee was poor, and I was like, there's games where I think there's incidents, and then you remember the incidents as a fan, but the ones where you're like, just felt like we didn't get anything today at all. I'm always a bit suspicious when there's incidents.
The Liverpool game. I think. Sorry to cut you. The Liverpool game. I think the referee had a poor game for both sides. I think the second half. The referee played a massive part as to why the game didn't really flow.
He didn't handle the occasion well.
Yeah, and to be fair, I thought Liverpool played really well in the second half as well, especially with the middle third duels and stuff. But I wouldn't look too much into that game. I don't know if the Canate challenge on Martinelli is a penalty. I'm seeing different angles where like one angle looks it's pretty clear, then the other angles.
Yeah,
but there's three games there for sure.
I feel luck. With injuries as well. Injury luck, penalty luck. You can kind of talk about the refereeing in luck as well. You could sort of sneak it in there. It's probably not fair. Fixtures, I know we're trying to separate out, but you could, but just luck in general. I think, maybe we need to just say that is injury luck. Because otherwise then we're looking into refereeing and fixtures. Let's say luck is just injury luck. Do I think injury luck has caused us more drop points than refereeing? But also on the refereeing, if something was done, like the Saliba thing, I think is a red card. So I'm not blaming the referees for that. Like I don't think it's fair to say.
I do think injuries have been a big issue this season so far. People might look at it and think,
No, I think so. But is it bigger than rubbish refereeing, basically? Not just refereeing that's you see what I mean? There's a difference between refereeing that's affected us because we've deserved it and refereeing that is rubbish and needs to be called out.
Also, there's Akshat. I think we missed Akshat's challenge as well. I think he was the first one. We'll come back to that. Sorry.
Akshat.
Yeah. We'll come back.
Lol, Alex ignored my comments. Fair, but you should accept criticism when you are wrong. Who's that about? It's about Arteta. We'll come back to it. Yeah. I'm going to say no on Fury. I think if we had Odegaard and Rice and Marino and Calafiori and Timber and that Liverpool game, I think it's cost us more than bad refereeing.
That's what I'm saying.
If we included Saliba in that, we might start to say, okay. If you included the Liverpool game in that, you might start to say, okay. But
Alex, the Liverpool game, we started with a team that didn't have William Saliba. Again, that's down to our own fault, in my opinion. We didn't have William Saliba. Who else? We didn't have Calafiori. We didn't have forgetting now. But we ended the game. But Ben White was half fit for sure. Yeah. He was not fully fit, and he's playing at centre back. Obviously, no Odegaard. A half fit Bukayo Saka. Saka came off in the second half. And by the way, there is not a game state in which it's 11v11 and the scoreline is level, in which Bukayo Saka comes off. That tells you that the player was not fully fit for that game. And we ended the game with Gabriel coming off with an injury, with Timber coming off and Saka coming off as well in that game. And we ended up with it was a back line of Kivior, Ben White, Thomas Partey, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Injuries massively affected our ability to play at a maximum in that game. And I still think we did enough to win it. So it has played its part, and I do think it's definitely higher than the referees. Just.
Indujan, starting the Tooth Fund off strong. Pep should be in this tier list. I would agree with you.
But that's in rivals, though, isn't it? That's in rivals.
No, that's in rivals. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all rivals as well, like title rivals. I would agree. I would have agreed with you last year. I would have agreed with you. Like I made a video actually being like, our biggest problem is arguably Pep about this time last year, because we were so good, but they're so good that there's nothing you can do. That's not the problem this year. It really isn't. So I don't know. I don't agree with that. What do you think?
Thank you for the no. I stand by it. I don't think I'm not as worried about our rivals this season. I think I'm more worried about ourselves in terms of being able to react quickly. I think we'll go on a big run, but it's just a case of when. So
Arteta should be in big because he's the final shot caller. We needed depth in the window. He didn't get anyone. His tactics goes down the drain with absence of one player.
I wouldn't agree to that. We've had injuries many times under Arteta's tenure, and we have reacted well. We didn't have Thomas Partey for the whole season, basically, last season. We didn't have Jurriën Timber for the whole season. Previous season, in the 22-23 season, we had Jesus go out for a lengthy amount of time. We still managed to keep up with the pace. Zinchenko had his injuries. Tomiyasu's had his injuries. I don't completely agree with the idea that Arteta can't work in unfavorable circumstances. When certain players are out, sure, but then you could argue most managers struggle with certain players out. But then it's about. But one thing I'll say about Arteta is I don't think he reacts quick enough sometimes, where he'll know the problem, but you won't see it 2 games earlier, where you see it happen, then you think to yourself, oh, imagine that happened like 1 or 2 games earlier. What could have happened? So, yeah.
Actually, I don't agree with myself. Bro, that's me every day. It's me every day. Daniel Burke, thank you for the super chat. Very kind. Challenge. Rivals should be in big. City's financial doping has set unrealistic standards. Back-to-back winners in a blip equals different narrative. I would agree with this, again, over a bigger sample. I think if you're saying, what's the problem with Arsenal today, Thursday, the 7th of November, I don't think that is. I don't think it's higher. But I would say, if you're talking about the modern era of football, what's the biggest problem? Bro, they're up there. They're way up there.
I think again, it's a case of you can go so many different ways with certain categories here. I think when we're looking at rivals, again, it's strictly the footballing context of the first 10 games that we've had so far this season and what we've all seen. Are you worried? Do you fear them or do you not fear them? And that's where I think we should look at this. So, yeah, but I do hear that perspective. But again, this is the thing. It's very, a lot of this is very it's very subjective, isn't it? So
no. This is all objective.
It's all facts, isn't it? It's all facts.
And what we say here tonight, it's going to change everything. Tim Lewis is watching. His hairline.
Needs to shave off, doesn't he? He needs to
his
shave
hairline. He's picked up on the waves of his hairline. He's going.
Maybe he wants to be unique. And do you know what? Imagine.
And he's on.
Imagine it's like Tim Lewis. He knows. He's very well aware of
these guys. They've got an incredible hairline. Sorry.
Maybe Tim Lewis is very well aware of the situation of his hairline, but he's like, I'll be different. I'll be unique. And do you know what? If he wants to rock with that sort of mindset, I'm all for it.
He wants to rock with that, Tim Lewis.
Oh.
I was listening to the Bee Gees earlier. So good.
Okay.
More than a woman.
You love the classics, don't you?
To me. Yeah, but like old music it's just got something about it. I don't make them like they used to. Right, let's have some good challenges. Come on.
I've got one
logical nonsense challenge. Recruitment to big and fixtures to yes. We should have had proper backup to accommodate injuries. We could have overcome the fixtures with better backup. Thoughts?
Again, but
you've got to move on.
But then wouldn't I be so I said I was pretty happy with our recruitment. I wasn't amazed by it, but I was pretty happy. Would I be a hypocrite to now suggest it was a big problem?
It's fine to be a hypocrite. One of the most powerful things you can do in life is admit when you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I do, but I think sometimes
I'm not saying you don't, but
yeah. To be fair, right, as of today, I think we can talk about Marino, and I think he's had some really good performances, but also things that I think he needs to do better in. But the Raheem Sterling scenario, again, I was all for that Band-Aid type of signing as a time fix. But currently, as of today, it's been a disaster. As of today, hasn't it? It has been a disaster. He didn't feature
But bro, he barely played.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a disaster.
I'm doing the thing.
Yeah, but it's like he didn't come on against Newcastle. He didn't come on yesterday. He's not going to play against Chelsea because it's his parent club.
Yeah, and I sometimes think, do we overthink things in football? Just put the best players on the pitch, and normally you're fine.
It's quite okay. You know, it's as a player, right, Raheem Sterling's got a plethora of experience under his belt. He is not an idiot. The fact that he's not came on at all against Newcastle or Inter Milan, two massive games, will ring alarm bells, and he'll be frustrated by it. And you're asking certain questions. I'm asking certain questions about it, where I'm looking at Raheem Sterling as a way of being able to manage the workload of Bukayo Saka, and also to give competition towards the left hand side, which I think is where he's at his best. I'm just so confused why I've not seen him more. I'm genuinely confused because I thought he was really good against Preston. Again, Preston are pants, absolute pants. But like, well, I don't know. I genuinely don't. I'm so baffled by it. Like, we're nearly in. We're in November. Wait, by the time Sterling can play another game, we'll be in the middle of November.
Ivan Smith with a very kind super chat. Thank you, sir. Why do you have me as your picture? Quite a few of you got me as your picture.
There's one of me. There is one of me.
Can you put
I think
Rohan,
there's only
please?
one though.
Can you guys put it as Rohan, please?
But what's wrong with that picture?
It's just such a. I'm like in the middle of a sentence. I also haven't got a beard. Challenge. Yeah. Fans should be in yes. Simon. Fans should be in yes. And Kieran, you as well. The expectations of the majority are sensible, but there are reactionary fans, e.g. Lee Gunner, with stupid expectations. The atmosphere in the Emirates has also been a problem since 22-23. I saw there's a new guy who's sort of Lee Gunner adjacent. I don't know his name, but he's very angry. He's the one who had a go at Babs. North side. Very angry man. Very angry.
Why do people go after other content creators? Like,
because they react.
Okay. But isn't it surely right? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the idea of football content to talk about football? Not
but
content creators.
It gets
hits and likes. And
it gets hits. Honestly, the stuff.
I just struggle with it.
So sorry for Babs as well. Like the amount of like fat shaming he gets.
Yeah, it's not nice, man.
It's horrible, man. He's also like not that this is the point. He's not even fat. Like, this is the weird thing. He's literally not overweight. It's really bizarre.
I just find I'll never agree to it. Like, for example, let's say, someone called me out, a content creator called me out. I'll guarantee you I wouldn't even bother reacting. I haven't got time for that stuff. Well, it's just a waste. It's such a waste of energy, isn't it? It's such a waste. Like, am I the only one who thinks this? Like, I don't know.
It is a waste, but also, like, I think ultimately you can always just go where the money goes, and like, I think people
you can monetize it.
If they think, people just, like, I've been fairly lucky on the sort of YouTube side of things. I feel like I found an audience quite quickly. There's some people who take years to find an audience, and they have to try different routes and avenues. Okay, so fans should be in yes. The expectations of the majority are sensible, but there are reactionary fans with stupid expectations. The atmosphere in the Emirates has also been a problem. So the atmosphere thing is a bigger point for me. I'm not as I still maintain the majority. There's always going to be a vocal minority, and I just don't think it has a massive impact.
Yeah,
but the atmosphere I think is an interesting point.
Yeah. So the atmosphere. I've been going to Arsenal for a long time. Even when we were absolute pants. And so if we look at, I like that word. I love that word. Let's look at Arsenal from the 22-23 season, right? The rise of performance, the massive, it's just like a flick of the switch. People said, a lot of people said, who are not looking at the
A
analysis.
lot of people were saying it. A lot of people
saying, and that created a lot of excitement, genuinely. So the 22-23 season, when because nobody was expecting Arsenal to be in a title race, nor did anyone expect the title. So they were expecting Arsenal to get back into the top four, because if you remember, in the previous season, we narrowly missed out. And because we were playing this brand of football that it was very exciting and teams didn't necessarily respect us, there was the atmosphere was really good, because it felt like there was no pressure on Arsenal. It felt like there was no pressure. We were exceeding expectations, right? We went on 19 games in which we accumulated 50 points. And I'll tell you now, Alex, there was the Leeds game after the international break in March in that season in which Man City played Liverpool and they won 4-1. I went to that game, and the Leeds game. It was the final international break, and it was the moment where everyone's thinking, right, now we've got a big chance of winning this.
Yeah.
Now we've got a big chance. And that's where, for me, the atmosphere slightly altered, because there was pressure on it. There was more of an expectancy. And that has cascaded into the previous season, and it's cascaded into this season as well. The big games, it doesn't matter what Arsenal era you are in, the big games naturally generate big noise. It's just common sense. It happens in every single ground. But what was happening in the 22-23 season, it felt like every game, the atmosphere was really good, because there was no pressure in Arsenal exceeding expectations. But now, because there's an expectancy, there's an entitlement from fans that we should be winning the league, there's less of that enjoyed kind of vibe, in my opinion, because you feel like every game is, it's like, what's the saying? Like, do or die, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. It's like, it feels like that because of who we're competing against, etc. So
yeah,
I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem for the players, but
Ivan, let us know what you mean by when you say problem, because like I think it is quite subjective, which then means that some people would have it higher and lower. That's what subjective means. But like I just think if you're going to the stadium and you go against Liverpool and the Saka goal happens, there's not many better places in world football to be, in my opinion. But then obviously if you go into the Shakhtar game and we're stinking out the gaff and it's your first ever game and, you're expecting huge things and you get disappointed, then you're going to feel. So I think it's quite...
Are we suggesting that the atmosphere... Well, the atmosphere in that interpretation is affecting the players and therefore the results. I suppose
I will always come down on this side. I think any analysis that like blames the fans is always just like going to be a bit short. I just think like when people are like, it's disgusting that fans leave early. They've paid their money. Like, okay, if it was me, I'm not leaving early because I don't want to. Like, I value watching Arsenal more than getting home. But some people value getting home or they need to get their train or whatever it is. So
especially in the midweek, trains,
especially
it's an absolute nightmare.
If you live in up north as you do. Why is my housemate hoovering?
I can't hear it.
Fed. Trav says, where does utter awoke nonsense?
Awoke nonsense.
That should be the new thing. Awoke. I don't know. I'm never keen on putting, because ultimately without the fact, this is the whole mad thing about like the Super League and like people taking Finn out, the people taking the Super League. Why would I live with a woman? For granted and stuff. It's like, if everyone tomorrow, if all of us here, right, are watching two people, one with no tooth, do a tier list about the biggest problems of a football club. That's how much we care about football, right? If we all stopped caring tomorrow and we're just like and just disconnected, the entire system falls down. That fans are the bottom of the pyramid. Everything falls away. If we stop paying Sky stop paying the clubs stop paying the players stop playing. That is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're the start of the chain, right? So the disrespect that fans can get sometimes, I find so mad. It's really weird.
Yeah, I hear that. Oh no, very well put.
So I'm just never I'm not a big fan of going like, yeah, it's the fans, like whatever. Like I think you can critique the fans, but putting them as a big problem.
I don't think the fans are influencing the results that Arsenal had this
We
season.
can't have injury luck as our biggest problem this season. I don't like that. Can we put the fixture list? I don't want. Oh, is it refereeing? I'd rather have refereeing than injury luck.
But luck can also be attributed to.
We've got to make it. We've got to make a decision.
I'm happy with that. There,
Ashburn only made the stadium feel much more excited in 22-23. The numbers reduced last season. The stadium felt much less energetic and quiet, except for goal celebrations. I'd probably agree with that, but I think go back to what Rohan was just saying about like the story about that. We just didn't expect that. It was such a big thing at the time.
I don't buy the Ashburton army has been the reason as to why Arsenal's atmosphere has been.
My mate thinks they're a plant.
I strongly disagree with that. Genuinely, like strongly disagree. Like, but I'm not going to get into it because I know I'll cause some kerfuffle. I'm not going to get into it.
Utter awoke nonsense. I'd rather have, and look at me, guys. The man who doesn't think there's a conspiracy against Arsenal. I'd rather have awful refereeing in top than injury luck or fixture lists. Take your pick.
Yeah, you can put referee in there. I mean, I've said it. I think the referees are absolute trash in this league. I've said that.
Put them there.
I've said that.
It's refereeing.
I think the referees.
That's our final list.
That guy right there, he's an absolute idiot, that guy. Andy Taylor, whatever his name is. Do you know who I don't like as well? Stuart Atwell. He's another one. And there's also another guy who's very like smug about himself.
Here's a game.
As well.
Here's a game. You've got to name Premier League referees. Last one to name one loses. Michael Oliver.
Stuart Atwell.
Craig Pawson.
Anthony Taylor.
Jared Gillett.
Chris Kavanagh. Same. I would have been done as well. I would have been done.
Is that all of them?
No, do you know there's one?
I don't want to know their names. I don't want to know their names.
No, what about the guy who looks? He's a little bit. He's quite built. Goes. You can tell he goes to the gym. Like
me.
The ones that. Yeah, you. I can't remember what his name was. But is Paul Tierney still reffing? I don't know.
Ref tier list.
We could do one if you want, really quickly.
Absolutely not.
They're all trash.
Right. I'm gonna get a Dr. Pepper because I'm thirsty. You're gonna tell me before we do a Chelsea preview and end the show why you thought Mourinho was good last night because you were wrong. In the meantime,
my Mourinho wasn't good last night.
Yeah, was good. We'll do a Chelsea preview in a second. It's going to take me 15 seconds. Are you going to be right on your own in 15 seconds?
I've done nearly a 2-hour pod on my own, mate. Trust me, I'm good. So, Mikel Mourinho. Yesterday, I think in the 2 games this week that we've had against Newcastle and Inter Milan, I don't think Mikel Mourinho has looked good. I think he's had some really good games this season so far. I thought he was outstanding against Liverpool. But one of the concerns that I've had, well, not concerns in terms of long term, but concerns as of today, is that I feel that he is not aware of certain triggers. Did you hear any
David Coote.
David Coote.
Yeah. You start again.
Okay, start again. So I think Mourinho, in terms of his start, Arsenal, I think he's had some really good games. I thought he was fantastic against Liverpool, genuinely. You know, I don't think it's fair to isolate that one moment in build-up as a way of... I thought you froze there. You really loving just pouring that there. You just seem so...
Be present, guys.
Be present. But I thought he was fantastic against Liverpool. I don't think it's fair to isolate that one moment he had in build-up that in which he switched off for the Salah shot as a way of judging his overall performance there. But I think I mentioned this to George as well. I think in a lot of games that I've seen so far of him, and I say a lot is not fair, but games that I've seen of him so far, I feel he's not aware of all the triggers out of possession in particular. So yesterday, and I felt the same against Newcastle as well. Newcastle went long a lot, as we did in that game as well. But when Newcastle looked to play through the lines, they did it successfully, and it stemmed from their ability to get it to the first receiver ahead of the centre-backs. In Newcastle's case, it was 2 receivers. It was Longstaff and Bruno, who were within close proximity to each other. And Marino wasn't always aware of who to mark, and he was late. And because he was allowing them time and space to receive and to then play that next pass, it created a pretty bad ripple effect in terms of how we kind of contained them there. And against Inter Milan as well, in the first 15 minutes, and again, I've not watched it back yet, but I will watch it back. I felt Marino was one of the big reasons as to why they were able to play through us. That first 15 minutes, they had some really good moments into Milan. And it came from, again, Marino not being aware of who to mark when they were building up. And again, Inzaghi is a very good manager in terms of the flexibility and build up, the rotations, etc. And I thought Marino was slow to react. And that gave them some control there. Well, a substantial amount of control in that first 15 minutes. And they were able to spread it quickly going forward. And I felt that stemmed from him there. And I also felt in the duels as well. I felt he was late again in quite a few instances. And there was some really poor. Yeah, I do. I really do. And people will look at people. I don't know how it's quantified here, but like when there's a scenario in which we head the ball away, and then he doesn't get in the duel where he should get in the duel, and they're able to win the second ball. But I don't think that counts as a duel contested. So that's what I'm talking about, him being late to react in these scenarios. And also, I felt on the ball as well. There were some really sloppy moments, mate. And I just didn't think he had a good game. And yeah, I genuinely thought he didn't play well. Like, yeah.
I agree with the lateness in the press. I don't agree with the duels. I thought he was great in the duels. I suppose my thing with it is I need to rewatch it, but on a first
I need
watch,
to rewatch it as well.
on a first watch, my instinct is that in each action, I noticed. It's funny when you watch a game, like you'll swear by a thing, but I watched one game. All I can say is, in the moments that my brain, when I'm watching Mikel Merino, he was doing the right thing. So someone could make a comp and say, here's all the things he did wrong, and they might be right. But in the bits that I watched, that's what I saw. I saw someone who was really efficient in his touches, as always. I saw someone who I thought dealt with contact really well. I saw someone making himself available. I saw someone running back and committing to the counter press. I saw someone who Mikel was praising, I think, at one point for getting back and covering for Martinelli. So in the moments that I saw, this is the thing with analyzing players, isn't it? It's like especially one game when you've watched it once, you haven't really watched their game. Really.
This is what I mean. This is why I always watch it twice. So the Newcastle game, right? I thought he played.
These guys, man. These guys. These tacticos.
No, but like the Newcastle game, for example, on first watch, I was like, oh, I thought Marino looked good. Then I watched it back, thought, not really. I need to watch it back again. I've not had enough time. Game literally just finished last night. I've been at work all day.
Give yourself a break.
I just was at work all day, but I need to watch it back, and I do think that what we have seen in these last couple of games at times is the importance of Declan Rice as that player higher in the press, and his awareness and his understanding of who to mark especially when it's a pivot, when teams are setting up in a double pivot where he stands in between them as bait. But again, what I want to reiterate is the fact that it is going to take Marino time. It is going to take him time. Like for me, the left centre mid in our system out of possession is the most demanding role in the press. I'll maintain that. So, and you've got someone coming in, and again, he has got experience. He's got a lot of experience. He's obviously been at Newcastle before, so he understands the league. But again, it's a lot to take in, so it is going to take him time. But I think what I've seen in these last 2 games, particularly in our press at times, is how important Declan Rice is. And actually, when Kai Havertz moved to the left side of midfield, and again, I've got a lot of opinions on that, but in terms of out of possession, I thought he did a really good job in the press. And because I said last season, I think that there's a player who can do the role that Declan Rice does to some capacity at left centre mid.
Yes,
it is Kai Havertz. It's Kai Havertz. So it's going to take him time, but I just wasn't particularly impressed with his performance.
I hear that. I think there's some people panicking a bit about Marino, but if I was if I was to say the one player that I'm pretty sure will be consistent and consistently good will never necessarily change the world, but who I'm pretty sure will be fine under Mikel Arteta, I think will be Mikel Merino. He's such a sure, like he's
very smart as well.
He's going to learn things. He's very efficient. He's not going to cost us problems. He might not get us anywhere. That's a different question. But the idea, I mean, yeah, okay. So social joins. Marino's a dud. He's not a dud. He's a good player. Could he improve? I hope so. But I don't think he's ever going to hold us back. But this is the thing with it. He's a really good facilitative signing. I think he helps in a number of ways. But yeah, I don't know. I don't worry.
I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried
about issues,
about him,
but I'm not worried that it's like a long-term problem.
This is what really annoyed me on Twitter today as well. I literally put usually before work, before then I'm not on my phone for a good 8 hours. I'll sometimes have a few tweets, thoughts for the morning. So I put on the Merino one, and I just mentioned how that specific game and the last couple of games I don't think he's played very well. And then you have the response of, oh, you're doubting Arteta's signings. We know what happens as they're given time, etc. Mate, read the tweet. Read it. Read the tweet. When have I said that? When
have you?
I can't stand social media sometimes. Can't stand it.
What's our lineup for Chelsea?
Chelsea. That's the end
Chelsea, racist.
Chelsea.
What are we doing? I would say a goalkeeper, David Raya. I think as long as Kai Havertz is all right, we go with Kai Havertz.
Are we assuming Rice is fine with his broken toe, supposedly?
I think we should.
Yeah.
And I suspect he'll play. I think from what I hear, firstly, Connor Humm.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait. He is.
I nodded.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see.
Yeah.
Because I was on the other screen. He says like, "Oh, Rice told me that he's fine." So it's a pretty big. It's a pretty big claim to say that the player himself has directly.
What's his track record like? That's what I want to know. What's his track record like?
I know Connor a bit. I met him a couple of times. He's pretty well connected. I'm pretty sure he's fine.
Let's just assume he's playing.
Left wing, my least favorite player in the world, Martinelli.
Yeah, you're a gender. You're a gender. Sick human. You sick human.
My gender.
And your other best player, where's Trossard? Where's Trossard coming into the team?
Yeah, are we doing what we do and then what Mikel would do?
This is what we're doing, right?
I think White is fine. He looked fine to me.
Yep.
That would be my back four. Timber, Gabriel Saliba and White. You can't take Thomas Partey out of the team at the minute.
I tell you what, I think he needs his own little shout because he is playing at a ridiculous level, honestly. He is playing 22-23 season, Thomas Partey, barring the last 10 games. He's playing at a ridiculous level. That would also be my team, and I've got obviously because I think right now with Marino, I just don't. I think he needs a bit of time, genuinely. But the issue is that the left-hand side, I feel we can see a lack of flow there again. But what I do want to see, actually, let's go into this first. Let's go into the Nwaneri. Yeah, Nwaneri for me.
Or I'd be okay with that.
He can't play.
What?
He's on loan at Chelsea. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Alex. We're not going to see Sterling until middle of November.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I really would.
Yeah, I'd be open to that. I would be open to that. Yeah. I've mentioned it many times. I think
cannot see Trossard again. I genuinely.
I think what I would want.
I don't think I'd watch.
Yeah, but what I would want is Nwaneri. I would. Had enough.
Yeah.
I want him to start. Had enough of this. He's not going to start. It's not going to be Nwaneri. But yeah,
we all know what's going to happen.
What I do want to say,
that'll be Mikel's lineup.
That will be Mikel's lineup. What I do want to say is the left hand side. we are going to see a lack of flow there due to the free right footers that we have there. But what I would want, I just think against Chelsea, Robert Sanchez is an accident waiting to happen in build-up. I think we need to press really hard, which is what we always do. But I think with Rice as the higher midfielder in this game, it makes sense, especially with Marino. Well, the high midfielder out of position, especially with Marino, I still think he needs a bit of time. But what I want to see in possession, we probably won't see it, but is when we're building up, and let's say it's our nominal 3-2 structure, and again, it changes. I want Rice predominantly alongside Partey, and I want Timber higher. That's what I want.
You want him in here?
Because when and just put Wanyeri in there because we're going for our lineup.
Yep.
In terms
of that.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, also, just to be clear, we did get Odegaard back. I don't think he'll start, but
Yeah,
I think maybe a half.
Yeah. But I think again, the left-hand side, you're going to see issues there regardless of having free right footers. I think it affects the angles and the flow. Particularly, do you remember yesterday where Timber makes a really good run and Martinelli plays it to him, and it's perfect for a left footer to hit it straight away, but then he checks back and he has to hit it with his right foot. That's just the nature of having what happens when you have free right footers there. But I think in terms of maximizing those players there, I think having Timber higher, someone who's going to be more comfortable in tighter spaces, receiving back to goal and turning and then driving, and having Declan Rice with more touches outside the block in the pivot. Yep. I think it just gives you more balance. I'd
agree with that. And slip balls and stuff from Timber.
Yeah.
I think if we start with Trossard, or even if we started with Marino, I think he'll start Marino though.
So then, do you think he'll stick with Partey at right back?
Maybe he will then, yeah. Maybe he'll play Partey right back.
Oh, I think we're just killing Saka. Then we're asking Saka to do too much.
We play Partey right back. Maybe, yeah. Then we'd have Marino probably.
I just wouldn't play Marino in this game. I just wouldn't.
I think that could be his lineup depending if Rice is fit. He might do that.
I just think there's a lack of balance through, but yeah, I think the right hand side is just
yeah.
It's not what I would do, but yeah.
There you go. Another TCP
flown by
in the books. This will be known as the one where Alex had no tooth. The one where Rohan cooked me about Mikel Merino. Cooked. Alex from TDK destroyed by G-Van's genius.
Wouldn't go that far. I don't like Dr. Pepper. I can't lie. I absolutely hate Dr. Pepper.
Would you say you're a genius?
I'd say I'm a dweeb. No, I'm not. No, I would say I'm someone who is always looking to learn.
I conditioned my hair this morning, and it's
or is it? Yeah,
it's looking quite voluminous, isn't it?
You got some good volume on the top, isn't it?
What do we think about the beard at the minute? Good length, a bit more.
What do you think? Do you want to grow it out like even?
Well, there's limitations to what I can actually do.
This is the thing. You need to understand your limitations. Like, I can't grow a beard.
I know. I want more. Look, can. I'm trying. Okay. I want more thickness around here, but I can't just have that, can I? Do you know what I mean?
I think you're cooking with it, to be honest.
There's enough there. Yeah.
Your mustache is like, you've left that. That's a lot heavier in comparison to your.
Yeah,
actually, no, it's not. No. I don't know. No, not relative to the bottom of your face. I generally can't grow a beard. Like, I can only leave it a certain length, and then it's just. Otherwise, it just becomes like lots of bum fluff.
What can you get? You can get like a. What can you get? Can you get coverage on it?
I can get coverage, but it'll just be patchy.
But
then you gotta go through that phase like, you gotta just let it grow out. Like, no,
just let it go. Just let it be.
But I don't think I can. I don't think I can classify
I'll
this as a
be
bid.
you.
This is not a bid.
And I'll be me. Anyone got any requests for songs before we go? We've got a minute left. Got a request for a song?
I think we should let the chat request.
Kieran, I haven't watched Omar Marmouche. Sorry. Marmouche. Do you think this live's got less chaotic since we moved to Cannonpod?
I mean, there are certain things that we probably said there that we wouldn't necessarily say.
I'm in the bonnet animated. I'm your favorite reference, baby. Call me Gabriette. You're so inspired. I'm a ton to make it once. No shit like defibrillator. I'm trying always be the one. Drop down, yeah. Put the camouflage on. Ooh.
We've approached the territory in which I lose complete interest in everything. Here.
That could be top 10 cringe moments of the kind of podcast era.
That was extremely cringe.
It's up there. That is up there.
That's bad.
What's the most awoke moment on the kind of podcast ever?
When we praised each other, that's pretty woke.
When?
No, when we like big each other up, it's pretty woke, isn't it? Is that woke?
No, I love you. I think you should always tell you. You never say it back, but I'll tell you I love you.
Thank you. Sorry, I had a burp there.
Alex, you look like Pete Wicks. Who is Pete Wicks? No, come on.
I know who that is, I think.
Actually, no, that's a compliment.
Is he the one with the ponytail? Is he the one with the ponytail?
Take that.
Is
I
he
look like Pete Wicks.
Show me.
Hang on. Hang on, one sec. Call me Gabriette, you're so inspired. I
am not singing Gangsta's Paradise.
This guy. I'll take that.
Oh yeah. I think he's been on a few.
You think like Pete Wicks? I'll tell that every day of the week.
Thoughts on neck tattoos?
Neck tattoos. I was talking about this in Malta with my mum. I think some people. We're not going to talk about football again. So if you don't want to hear about football, we're at the end of the show.
We've done 2 hours anyway.
Yeah, this is waffle. You had your time. I think I think he really suits it, and I think
I hear that.
Suit tattoos, and some people just don't, and it's hard to say who. Yeah. But I think he suits it. I think
if you've got I think if you've got a strong jawline, you suit a tattoo.
Yeah. You've also got to have like nice arms. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've got like thick forearms, it looks good. But I've got little like spindly, like sort of twig arms. My forearm, my arm. The annoying thing about can I show you something? Right, hang on. I'm not getting undressed. One second.
Oh, we saw skin.
The annoying thing about my arm is that that's a man's arm, right? A man's arm. You look at that, you go, yeah, he's packing a bit.
He's cooking.
That's a child's wrist.
Yeah, my wrist is not that big as
well. That is a child's wrist. So in a t-shirt, I look small because my wrists are so small. But my arm, if you look at my arm, it's fine.
Mate, I'll tell you what though. One thing I'll say about myself is that I'm pretty strong for my weight. Like,
yeah.
All right, chest, Alex. Dumbbells, chest press. What do you do?
Max.
I don't do bar. I don't do bar.
1 rep max or like I don't know 3 sets.
I don't do. I like 10 reps. Could you do? Or
10 reps. So 3 sets of 10 reps. I reckon I could do.
Oh no, just do one. No, let's say 1 set. Like one.
No,
set.
I don't think I've ever done 1 rep max. So I have to tell you 3. I reckon 3 by 8 I can do. If I've been going to the gym for a while, because sometimes I like dip out a little bit. 17.5 either side.
Really? No, you can do more than that.
No.
I go to 30 force.
What, dumbbells?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about with the bar. So bar.
Oh, with the bar.
I'm talking about chest press.
Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about pure dumbbells.
So if you add the bar, it sounds like I'm absolutely cooking you, mate.
Yeah, but with the bar,
Sounds like
you
you're a
could
pussy.
have more weight.
No, it does sound like you're a pussy.
Oh,
I think that's what it sounds like.
But with the bar, with the dumbbells, you're isolating both arms, aren't you? So whereas with the bar, you've got to you could have like a bias towards one side. I think we should go to the gym one day together and we should record it and we could
should do it live. We should do it.
I'll tell you what,
live from the gym.
Nate, we're cooking, honestly.
Rohan is doing 68 kg. Alex with the bar is doing 50. No. I'm doing the bar. The bar is like at least 3,000 kg. So it's not.
But I won't bother going above 44. I feel like, like when you just look at your wrist. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Huh?
Do you know what I mean about my arm?
Yeah, I hear that, but that's just no. It's
fine. What can I do?
Yeah, my wrists are small. My wrists are small. Look, my watch goes like. Here.
I've got one of these, so I do like the. Ow! I do that. It doesn't do anything.
What about the forearm exercises, like with the dumbbells?
Which ones?
Like,
which forearm?
I don't do them because you can see like what's it's like.
You didn't pick up. You didn't pick up what I was putting down.
No, but yeah.
George is saying 225 pounds.
Yeah, but George's big.
Your American rubbish. Your American woke rubbish out of here. What is that? What's that in normal? What's that in normal weight?
I don't even know. And I work in engineering as well. What's that in SI units?
Pounds to kilograms. That is 102 kilograms. To be fair, George is hench, bro. George is a big boy.
But I also think, right, I don't think it's impressive if someone is like massive. They can lift so much weight, but they can't run. I don't think that's impressive. I think that is fake strength. Fake strength.
You calling George a fake?
No, George can run. No. I'm talking about, right, I see people at the gym and they're massive and they can lift like 45 kilos either side dumbbell. But I'm thinking to myself, if me and you had a race, I'm smashing you to pieces. Like, if someone was after me, I'll get What
unless you're doing like competitions, what's the benefit of being that big?
Exactly. Can you run?
There's no tasks in day-to-day life that require you to be able to lift like whatever you're lifting. There's nothing.
Exactly.
Literally nothing.
It's all ego. A lot of it is ego.
So you're calling George out, is what you're saying? I feel like you're calling George out a bit.
I feel like you're George.
I feel like you're calling George out. I feel like you're challenging George to a race.
To a race.
Who would win?
I think
who would win 100 meters? Me, you, and George.
I'm winning.
You got the shortest legs by a mile. You got the shortest legs by a mile.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You're 5'3".
No, we're having a race. Me and you having a race.
Who's the shortest out of me, you, and George? I actually don't know.
I think George might be. Could
be George, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the tallest.
George had tactics the race. George would somehow like outthink us in the race. He'd like get some kind of like some advantage that
Surely not in 100 meters though. 100 meters short sprint, bang, gone. No, honestly,
metrics or something.
Chat, who do you think would win? I'd win. I would win. Convinced.
George is 5'8". That's crazy. It's not George. You give off a taller aura.
You wouldn't think that as well. Would you?
You are 5'3" and you come off like you're 5'3". George. Right.
I'm telling you, we need to have a gym session. We
Yeah, we do.
Record it.
We do. We also want. We need a night out as well.
I also think if you can't, you should always incorporate pull-ups in your routines.
Yeah.
I think pull-ups, like dips, that's like proper strength. Especially when you do like weighted dips and weighted pull-ups. That's like, yeah. Am I cooking, chat? Any PTs? Am I cooking? With the knowledge there? Very limited knowledge, but dips is like
people saying big on pull-ups.
Yeah, pull-ups. Just so it doesn't matter
favorite muscle group to train.
Back.
Do you know what we should do? Do you know what we could do, actually? We could do on a Cannonpod Live is who can do the most press-ups to failure.
Yeah. Should we do that?
Yeah? What now?
Now. I don't know if I've got the room to do it.
Let's do it.
No, I don't have the room. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I'll have to like.
Ow!
Wait. Can you see? Wait, if I do that,
I don't think I
you
could
see-
do
you can
this.
sort of see the floor.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can. Oh my god, what is happening?
See that? Can you see
Hold
that?
on.
And you can see
Yeah,
my
I can
form.
see that. I can see that.
You can see my form.
Yeah, I can see it.
Right. But
Yeah.
no, you've got to do it as well. We can't do it. We can't not
Wait,
do it at the
no,
same
but I
time.
want to see you first.
No, we got to do it at the same time. That's the
But
point.
then I can't see you, innit?
No, but the point is,
All
it's
right, fine.
right. Hang on. Right.
Okay.
What is it to
Right,
failure?
we're doing this time.
I'm
Fine.
going to lose. Just to be clear, I'm going to lose. Right. I'll do it first.
Okay, we're doing this.
You've got to count.
But but I can't hear you, innit? If I take my headphones out.
Well, actually, I'll do it first, and you
Okay,
count.
cool. Right. Yeah.
Ready?
Right. Yeah. I'll back myself here.
I reckon 15.
15.
Yeah, probably.
Go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's a fair effort. That's a fair effort. Right. Let's go. Let's go. I don't know if you can see this. To move this.
Oh. 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 How many was that? How many did I do?
23.
I'll take that.
Can you see me?
Yeah. All right, I'll count.
Can you see me now? Yeah?
Ready? Yeah, go.
Okay, right. Oh, let me take my watch off. Okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, try. Yeah, keep it.
Oh, shit.
No, actually take the headphones out because it will distract you.
Okay.
Go. 1, 2, 3. Wide grip. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. He's going to cut me. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, form, 30, 31, 32, form, 33, 34, 35.
Oh.
He was arching though. The grip was wide.
Was it?
So you did 35, but the form. Form.
We'll go again.
There was like some arching there at the end. But you cut me, to be fair. You cut me.
We'll do it again. I'll do a tighter grip. That's fine.
I'm knackered.
I feel good.
I'm absolutely knackered. I'm done. But you'd go again now.
Yeah.
No, wait. I've got homes to go to.
Okay. Right.
Oh,
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Now I'm on the floor.
Right. Next, we run a 5K on a TCP live. What do you reckon? We do a 5K and we analyze football as we go. Would people watch that? I'd do that. 100%.
I'll do that. Yeah.
I'm actually knackered. But you're fine.
Are you knackered?
I'm fine.
I think we should go again.
Right. Finish there. Chat. If you've got this far, credits. If you've got this far and you're not a patron or YouTube member, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. It's free. It's free. We did push-ups for you. Crazy. We'll do a 5K at some point. Listen, pleasure as always, Rohan.
Always
a pleasure, never a chore. Thanks everyone for being here. If you're here watching at this point, considering the form Arsenal are in, it's unbelievable. It's a commitment to the cause. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back. We've got a instant reaction on when's the game? Sunday. Can't be. I'm still out of breath.
Oh yeah,
Still out of breath. We're back on Sunday. We've got what have we got? Have we got any content coming out? Not sure. We've got a very, very interesting interview next week. Actually, I haven't told you about this. A very interesting interview coming out next week, which I think you're all going to enjoy. So, yeah, look forward to it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks. Actually, have you got any last words?
No, I just feel great. I feel great after that.
Okay. And thanks for keeping it Arsenal.